Reaperman here with something a little different. So back when I first started this channel back in 2011, I got a bunch of these pirate Famicom cartridges and I started reviewing the games on it. One of them was quite popular. It was a near playthrough, as near as I could tell, of Tekken 2. At least I think it was Tekken 2. See, on the cartridge it says it's Tekken. In the menu it says it's Tekken 3. And the game itself said it was Tekken 2. But it was awfully crashy, and every time I played it, it crashed before I could get to the end. It's not a hard game, but it's awfully crashy. Now that I've got new hardware, though, I've got the Analogue Interactive NT Mini, and I've got my nice Neo Geo controller here through a custom adapter. I put a link up there somewhere. And I thought I'd give this one another try because it seems to be my most popular video of all time, and I'm just a little embarrassed of how low quality the footage is in it. So this is Tekken 6. It's a little different because the NT Mini up there didn't like the cartridge, still crashed, but I did find a bunch of other versions of Tekken, most of which also crashed. But this Tekken 6 here seems to be stable enough for me to play a bit. As you saw, the attract modes has some as close as Nintendo could come to full motion video. Kind of 3D models, looks nice. The backgrounds look really nice. We got some parallax going, and this is my favorite level here, this baseball diamond. I hope we'll at least see all the backgrounds before the game freezes up and crashes this time. So let's give this game a credit. I'm just playing at the default difficulty. I always pick the cheetah here. I don't know their names. I'm not actually a Tekken expert. I played Tekken once in the PlayStation era and didn't actually care for it. So played this game more than actually real Tekkens. Thank you, Chinese pirates. So the controls are pretty simple. Boop. You got B for your kicks generally, and A for your punches generally. And this guy seems to have two super moves. I can do a quarter circle forward and B to execute this kind of punch. I'm going to have to go back to the footage on that one. Did I really lose all my health? Okay. Keep losing health to her. I think she's doing one of her little special moves whenever she rings her arms like that or something. Anyway, the other special move I have is the quarter circle forward, followed by the punch button. And what that does is this kind of weak anti-air that I'm actually not going to try on her until the next round here. It's really hard to get it to connect, and it does a very unimpressive amount of damage. It's a really terrible. It just looks like an anti-air move. I'm not actually sure if it is. So it's that little uppercut thing. The other things you can do is when you connect with a crouching, I believe, punch or kick, it will knock them way the heck back. As it turns out, I'm lying. So just the kicks knock them back. I've tried a variety of characters. Their moves all look a little different anyway. Boom. Boom. I'm going to do this waddle punch here, this waddle chop, whatever it's called. I'm sure some Tekken experts will help me out with what I'm actually doing. The backgrounds are fairly impressive for NES era. Well, they're not NES era, but NES hardware. And now I'm up to this other lady that's probably going to look very much like that first. So I've seen versions of this game where picking the cheetah actually yields a guy with kind of a cheetah. But that's not any of the versions that resemble that Tekken 2. So the Tekken 2 that I tried, the Tekken 3, and the Tekken 6 all seem to be the same game minus the title screen. Except that Tekken 6 is crashy. Boom. Boom. Just gonna cheaply spam here. and we'll try and get up to the next background as quick as we can. I'm not actually good at fighting games. I play them for the same reason that I play shmups, and that's actually for the neat backgrounds, scenery, and just the artistry of it. And this is for obviously what's a pirate game. It's beautiful. There is a fair amount of flicker, and thankfully now that this new video is in 1080p 60, you should be seeing all the delightful flicker that you're seeing. Alright, new background time. Alright, looks a little upset. This is Kazuya and Hachi. Seeing this background. Oh, let's just get it back. A little too close. I like that kick does. Actually seems like this guy's upper kick is a more effective anti-air than what appears to be his little anti-air move here. Ah, I connected that time. There's one for the record book. So, my controller here is an old MAS Super Pro stick. And as for Neo Geo, I've modified it with IL buttons, cherry controls, to make it feel a little bit more like the 80s. And I use the convex IL buttons. Give it kind of a little bit of Japanese flair without having any Japanese parts anywhere near it. So I've got a few big sticks for Neo Geo here. This has got to be my favorite though. I've got kind of a joke stick that's kind of a Colt 45 Lando themed stick, and then I've got another one that's just a modified Mad Cats or something, Sandwall parts in it for Neo Geo. Got a custom plate on the top that only has the 4 buttons. Oh, it's the ouch. That could become a problem. I don't know if any of these scenes are actually in Tekken, but this one kind of reminds me of a background in a game called Kasumi Ninja on Atari Jaguar. I believe it's Angus's stage. And his special move is to lift up his kilt and shoot fire out of his crotch, which is a joke that I just got after all these years because he's a redhead. So, fire out of his crotch. Yeah, I get it now. Thank you. So let's keep spamming this thing and move on to the next background. I think that'd be... This was Angus's stage. I guess that'd be a Loch Ness Monster there in the background, that little parallax wave. These are really nice backgrounds for NES. Can you tell how hard I'm concentrating on beating this guy? I'm just sitting here rambling on about old video games. That's what we do here, by the way. Oh, good, it's going to be that lady that looks like all the other ladies. There's that circle thing with her hands that actually do a good amount of damage on me. That's her special. Yes, that does a lot of damage. Okay, back off. I am starting to have execution difficulties with my only super move. Having a lot of execution difficulties all of a sudden. Okay, I think I worked through them. User error, I'm sure. So here we are, just duking it out in the middle of what appears to be Utah. I assume these are actually character names from Tekken. Maybe somebody can inform me a little bit about this. I think I've only played Tekken 3 for real Tekken. I wasn't all that impressed with it. They're probably a lot better now that they're apparently up to 6 according to this game. At some point, it was probably 15 years ago, it was probably. Good, this guy again. So it seems like we got 3 layers scrolling here. We got the foreground layer, well, the ground layer, I guess. And then we got a middle background layer, background layer. Boom. I'll get fancy and try and connect with one of those. Nope. I'll just die. More. Come on. There we go. Woo! Cleanest victory in all of gaming. Not cheap at all. Since I'm clearly so good at fighting games, I just totally have one of those fighting game only stations. Show people all about my super fighting moves like the sucker punch and the cheapinator. Punch. 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 Okay, let's see what the next background looks like. I think we've probably started repeating them. They do start to repeat unless this game is different than my Tekken 2 was. Alright, this is the guy that looks just like me, even though he's not a cheetah. And he is awesome. I'm gonna have to be extra cheap on you. Just wait for you to do my move, and then I'll come in and do one. How about that? Oh. Seems like I may have picked the most OP character in the game. I don't think this game really has a difficulty curve per se. It's just this guy seems to be considerably better than the rest of them. So the low kick to knock them back is actually super handy. Whew. Not my proudest moment, if I'm honest. Let's see what the next background looks like here. Okay, this guy again. And this background again. I wonder if the background, the ground layer, the one that we're actually fighting on, and that middle layer are actually the exact same. No, they're not. No. Right, Heihachi. Let's do this. And it would appear that all the versions of this game freeze. I had really hoped that I was spared from that. But at least now I have some decent looking 1080p 60 footage of this game up that I'm not totally embarrassed of. Unfortunately, there's an old fat man talking over it, which is probably kind of bothersome. But we'll see how this one goes with the fans of the first video.